Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pursuit of Relentless podcast. You've got your host here, Alaina, and today I am with one of my favorite humans. Her name is Anita Parker, and we've connected through a couple mutual friends. Everyone's like, you got to meet Anita, you got to meet Anita. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we have been in collaboration for a while now, planning this conversation for you guys today. So thank you, Anita, for joining us. And I'm really excited for everyone to hear your story.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, this has been a few years in the making for sure. And I love those conversations when people see when two like-minded humans should come together. And here we are today. So I'm grateful for those connections.
Yeah, me too. So have you always been an entrepreneur, or did you get into it earlier in life, later in life? What did that look like for you?
Well, I think I was an entrepreneur at the age of 5 and didn't know it.
Yeah, me too.
And that's all thanks to my mama. She was a very driven lady. The truth is, though, I think with my generation especially, we were taught to go to school, get an education, get that job, and then you stick with that until you retire. So I have to say that I did put myself in that mold and was in a career for 26 years as a dental hygienist. And it served myself and my family really well. But my heart was always feeling like it needed to do more, be more, so that I could give more. And so I would say it really wasn't. And 2009 was my first official dabbling into entrepreneurship. And it wasn't a full-on commitment, though. So it was a slight taste, but it really wasn't until I would say 2017 that I started to open my eyes of what was possible to become an entrepreneur. And that's because of my husband. He's an incredible entrepreneur and has been an amazing mentor for me. And then it really got amplified in 2020 as the world forever changed. And that's when I really started to dive deeper into what is possible in becoming an entrepreneur. And now I would say I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, 100%. So
yeah, I love that you've done so many very collaborative businesses. You can do the restaurant side of things with your husband, or you can do your Arbonne business, right? Or multiple other businesses that you choose to do, like Wine, Women, and Wellbeing. Just a little plug for that as well. I love that event. I think it is bringing a bunch of people together and just like doing things the right way, and which is why I really wanted to have you on the show, because I just see what you're doing and I'm really aligned with it. So I want to help you in any way I can and get people access to more of your content, because you're so good at content creation. And I'm just like, I need to get Anita on the show. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, thank you again.
I love that.
But yeah, so fast forward to, okay, now we've established this is what we're going to do. 2020 rolls around. Obviously, the world was just in crazy chaos, but you guys thrived through it. So what would be some of the tips, tricks, trials, tribulations, all of that kind of stuff that you guys got to experience?
Well, it's funny, as you were saying that, I could feel all those emotions again, because we were in flight or fight mode. And it was like, okay, so what am I going to do? Because I need to leave a career that was literally affecting my physical and mental health. And I was actually finishing my degree so I could work for a dental corporation, which allowed me to teach, which is huge on my heart.
Yeah.
And then that kind of went obviously off the table. And working alongside my hubby and watching like how we were, honestly, some tips is like, dreaming big is really big, because you never know when you actually need to put those things into play, like immediately. And I think that's why for us, the continuous pivoting for us is what actually kept us alive in the restaurant and brewery industry. And we were able to hire more people. Like that was huge. When people were shutting down or laying people off, we were actually in a position because of creative minds and collaborating and having those conversations of like, hey, let's try this, let's try this. And so that was a real gift and a real blessing. And it was April of actually 2020 where I decided to like not care what anybody else thought. And I became a social seller with my Arbonne business. And I have to tell you that Arbonne really gave me the tools for self-development to be the entrepreneur I am today, alongside the amazing mentorship and support of my husband. I always have to mention that. They really give you incredible tools. And I just got over the fact of not caring what other people think. So that's another tip for you. Don't care what other people think. They do not pay your bills. And we were all in a situation where it's like, oh, okay, so how are we going to make this happen? Like there's food to put on the table, bills. We have kids as well. So it was like, I'm doing this because one, I believe in this company. It's a legacy company. The integrity, the transparency, they're like the top. They are now officially the top certified B Corporation company in the world.
Right.
Hello. Like to get a B Corp certification, first of all, is not easy.
No.
So you can tell I'm so proud to be aligned with them. And it really just was the catapult for me. And it allowed me, of course, results are not typical. I'm not typical. It is an effort-based business. And I was going because I needed a change. So, yeah, I would say for sure, any dreams that you have, write them down, speak them into your mind. I think that's really huge. I find myself sometimes when things are getting tricky, it's like that dialogue might be a little bit negative. And I'm like, actually, let's just turn that page and let's talk about this, because this is what you're meant to do. This is how you get to be of service and create possibility for others. Like this is the big thing for me. And I think you know this of me. And for those that don't, is like, I'm huge on creating opportunities for others.
Yes.
And I love that you brought up Wine Women Wellbeing, because we are doing things in a way that's healthy for women to support each other, to collaborate with each other. There's no need for competition. I think us as human beings, we're in enough competition with ourselves. We don't need to be in competition with other people. So it's just the ripple effect of this has been amazing, because our community and beyond needs this. So it's really cool.
I love it. Like I went to the event last week and it was just so amazing. Like I got there and it was like the very first person I got to see was someone I lived with like 10 years ago. And I was like, oh my goodness, like she's here. And I was so excited because I don't see my friends all that often. Like as an entrepreneur, guys, you have to work your butt off. That's just how it goes, right? Because if you don't want to work for someone else's dream, you have to work for your own. And I think that when you were talking about dreaming big, that was one of the biggest takeaways from the event that I had, was just go into the conversation open to whatever's coming. And I got so many good conversations across the table from people I'd never met before. One lady was a lash lady. The other lady runs multiple businesses as well. And I was just like, wow, this is incredible to just be able to sit there and network with these people who are in the same mindset as you as well. I think that's really important. And when you find your key people in your community that you know you're aligned with, well, just do stuff with them. Like,
Yes.
I'd rather come and do events with you than most other people, because I know the type of people who are going to be at your event, right? And I know that those are people who are open-minded to learning about themselves and growing in personal development and stuff like that. And I love that Arbonne offers that kind of opportunity, because it was the same thing for me with World Financial Group. When I met World Financial Group, I was like, not a chance. I was listening to all my family members who were just like, you're crazy. Like, what are you doing? You're $100,000 in debt, Alaina. Why would you be a financial advisor? And I was like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Right. And I set my mind to it. and didn't listen to those naysayers. And I said, watch me, you know, you want to tell me I can't do something? Watch me. I'm going to go prove you wrong. And
Oh,
it just fired me up so much. Like sometimes I'm a pretty forward person. And it just like lit that fire under my soul. And I was like, no, I'm going to go and make something big here because it's making an impact on the world. It's doing something I love doing. It's giving me the flexibility and freedom to work when I want, you know, and now it's going to give me the opportunity to travel and still work and still build my business and, you know, have my dream life. And I think it's really awesome that entrepreneurship does give you that, but people do need to understand, like you said, it's not just rainbows and butterflies, right? At
it's not.
all. It's got the hardships. It's got the, hey, do we need to switch locations or do we need to pivot or do we need to, you know, gauge our market a little bit differently or collaborate with other entrepreneurs or like other people who've been in the same situation as we have, right? And you never know what's coming. So you can't necessarily plan for everything. But if you know who to talk to, like you said, having good mentorship, it is so invaluable. I think
100%.
personally, I don't know. That's
I
just,
agree with you 100%. The conversations become more integral, and you can make a bigger impact when you're surrounding yourself with these kinds of humans. And I'm finding that is definitely what's happening, and creating a space for people to be seen and heard. I refer to this a lot, is so important, because at the end of the day, we all want to be valued. We all want to be heard. We want to be seen. Even if you're a shy person, you still want to be, you want to be validated that you're being heard, you're being seen. Like, it's important. I've chatted about this before, is that connections are so different now because of what we've come through globally, that the socialization piece has changed. And I think now more than ever, people are seeking people, one, of course, that are like-minded, but for these type of people, they want that connection that can create change. Those are the kinds of humans that you and I are aligning with on a regular basis. So, like, when you're locking arms with incredible humans, you can do greater things for the
mm-hmm.
today and the tomorrow, right? And that's kind of really one of the things that are huge on my heart, to be of service. So I love that so much.
Yeah, we're very similar in that way. I'm like, I would go and do, my husband gets mad at me sometimes. He's like, Alaina, you gotta chill sometimes. Like you get so excited about giving back to your community and just like doing all this stuff, and then you burn out. And he's like, you gotta like figure out that rhythm, figure out that flow, right? Because when you put yourself out there too much and you don't take that energy or time to reset or relax, you can get burnout, and burnout is a real thing. It is
Yeah.
a real thing. And then you have to try and recharge. And when you just take care of your health and take care of your fitness, I think it keeps you level headed. It helps with your like your brain fog and stuff like that as well. You don't have to stress out as much, right? When you're prepared and you know what's going on tomorrow, and you don't have to like wonder if you're going to have time to go grocery shopping. Well, it should be in your schedule, you know, if you're running a proper schedule, right? So I think that when you're in those moments of frustration and you're just like, oh man, how am I going to get all this stuff done? I think one of the biggest tips I can give you for advice would be to not take advice from somebody who doesn't have the life that you want, and B, to use a scheduler. Those are two of the biggest things. So a lot of people are like, you should do this, or you should do this, or you should do this. And it's like, yeah, but that's that, like you said earlier, you did what you were told to do. And me too. I went to school, I got good grades, and I went into the career path I wanted. They said, you should be a doctor. I said, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to be a pastry chef. And then it turned out I didn't want to do that either. Right. And then I went into multiple other fields and ended up in finance. And I thought I was going to hate it, but
Right.
it's the impact piece. It's the being able to go out every day and go, hey, I get to connect you with my whole audience. Like that's really cool. Because how's that going to help me grow my business? How's that going to help you grow your business? Right? How are these conversations going to be able to create that ripple effect on people's lives? And I know that when you are a mover and a shaker like yourself, you're inspiring so many people to just go out and chase their own dreams because they see that it's possible. And I think that's a big piece of it, because a lot of people are sitting there going, oh, there's no way I can go accomplish this, or you're just so different than me. Nah, we're all the same. We just might have a little extra drive and, like my mom would say, piss and vinegar.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love it. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, that I love that you brought that up of, oh, but I don't think I could do that. We're not the same.
That's the point.
When I hear comments like that, I always think, what is it that you don't believe in about yourself? Because that's what that is actually about.
Yeah.
Right.
Big time.
And then that's the work. I know right away that's their work. Right. So it's like, and I'm not laughing about that. What I'm trying to say is I'm laughing because I recognized it in myself, of my limited beliefs, which is absolutely ridiculous. I will say that 3 years ago, I would never imagine that I would be a multi-passionate entrepreneur, doing what I'm doing. And it's interesting because they all intertwine, restaurant, healthy meal prep, wine, women, well-being, the Arbonne. And it's just like, they all somehow work together to help people. So it's like, it's possible if when you make the decision and decide that you want something or some things, right? You just need to do it. And I think a lot of times people have, and I talked about this at the last event, is like, we should be so proud that we do multiple things. There should be no shame in that. That
Right.
You should be so proud that you are built and have been given a gift to be multifaceted, to help in multiple ways. Whoa.
Right.
That's something to be proud of.
And there's people out there who aren't necessarily living their dreams, but they're so good at what they're doing, whether that's being someone's assistant or helping them run their company or being a mom. There's so many different avenues of life that you want to be excellent in. And when you actually evaluate, like, how am I doing in these areas, it's a bit of a kick in the face sometimes if you're not
Yes.
balancing out what matters to you. So I've done a couple exercises, like, have you seen like the rocks in the jar? You put the big rocks in first. So like your family, your faith, your business, your fitness, your health, that kind of stuff. You put those big ones in the jar, and those are the ones that you have to tend to first. But then your jar looks full until you start putting smaller pebbles in there. And then you can fit a bunch more little things in there, like cleaning your house, walking your dog, whatever that stuff is, and making phone calls or doing follow-ups, or trying to figure out your emails.
Yes, I know.
Emails. I'm like 87 emails.
Right.
This is my morning. Like, sometimes you get behind, you have to figure that stuff out, but when you have a system around it, it is so much more helpful.
Yeah.
In my opinion, for sure. But yeah, I like helping people dream as well. Like getting into the conversation of, what are you trying to create, right? What are you trying to build for yourself? And I feel like a lot of people, I'm sure realize, lack confidence in themselves. And that holds them back a lot. So maybe you could take a minute and just give some advice on how to build your confidence, or like what it's looked like to dig into that personal development space, and how it's changed your life.
Oh, I would love to. Thanks for asking that. Because I definitely was that person who would look in the mirror. And so the mirror is where I actually had to start. And actually talking to myself in the mirror and telling myself who I am and what I'm a stand for in this life, and repeating those things daily. I think at one time I must have had 20 plus affirmations covering my one wall. Actually, it's probably more than 20 if it's covering part of a wall. And I read those daily to remind me. So I would definitely say, look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself some positive dialogue of who you are. Or if you're confused of who you are and where you want to go, what is the desire of what you want to be? Because we all have those people we look up to. And so I remember borrowing the belief of others, which would be another great tip, because I wasn't ready to believe in myself yet. So I think that's really important. Daily reminders, and taking the time for me personally was doing like meditation. And I say was because I actually need to dive back into that. I'm knowing right now that, you know, sometimes I am going, okay, is this right? I know I need to course correct and I need to realign myself with all these amazing habits like journaling, meditation, affirmations, taking the time to be out there with the dogs and actually being in the moment. So, because those things don't seem relevant to confidence, but they actually are because you're taking time to
Agreed.
breathe and to actually be in the moment.
Yeah, I
You
love
know,
that.
a
That was me
confused
last
mind.
night.
Yeah, because a confused mind will not go anywhere. So I think just really honing in. I remember when I was, it's so funny, when I was en route with my team to become a vice president with Arbonne. I remember writing in my journal every day, I am, a regional vice president. I was literally writing it every single day, a full page. That was what I was I was writing it, burning it into my world. And I think if you, take the time, whatever it is for you, and it doesn't just have to be, um, professional. Like I think success, sometimes the word gets misconstrued as
Yes.
like financial, and it's not. So when I speak of success, I'm talking about success personally as a human being, mom, wife, sister, friend, mentor, whatever it might be. Success is far more than the financial means. The financial means obviously we need financial means to live life. And there should, again, also be no shame around making money.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't. Like, if you work hard, you deserve to be rewarded. It's what you do with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that success can look like many different things. And you get to choose in different areas of life, personally, professionally, spiritually, if it is that for you too, like whatever it is to create, and just write even one or two or a few things. Now, when I see something or someone winning, and this is, I mean, I've always been excited for people winning. And I do remember going through a phase of like feeling not good enough because, like, oh, they're doing this, like, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, that's just so crappy. Like, that's not a way to live because I genuinely am happy for others. And I had to unlearn that and relearn that, Anita, you're good enough. You are worthy. You are deserving.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there are so many ways to build your confidence. It's really endless, actually. It's when you make the decision to stop, honestly, beating yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah, or surrounding yourself with people who are not healthy. Like I have definitely, there's acquaintances that they're not really, or friendships that not really involved, still healthy, respectful when I see them, but they don't get what they don't get because their mind is built differently than mine.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make them wrong, doesn't make me right. It just, we're different. And I want to continue to surround myself with people who want to um, create and be more and give more.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
growth mentality human. The one who's going out and going the extra mile and going, hey, I want to have a good life and I want to make sure that I'm going out and living my best life
Mm,
for myself. Uh, I've made a decision recently that's going to make a big impact on my home life and like what it's going to look like for our family. We don't know, but we're going to figure it out. Right. And I think when you do what genuinely makes you happy, they say, okay, go figure out what makes you happy. And I'm sitting here, like you said, in meditation going, all right, like, what is it that makes me happy? My family, nature, being able to be around people that I love and want to build a life with, and if I'm too busy creating this incredible business for myself, well, yes, I can have a great business, but am I sacrificing my family?
mm.
Right? I don't want to do that. So things need to change. We need to be not afraid to take chances on ourselves. I think that's a big tip as well. But like you said, when you just commit to being nicer to yourself and listening to yourself a little bit more and giving yourself a space to allow yourself to listen, I think that that is super, super useful and powerful tool. So you don't have to sit there in meditation like you think you need to with your legs crossed and your fingers together.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it like that. You can just sit there and close your eyes and focus on your breath and focus on how you're genuinely feeling and like what it's like in that exact moment. Are you feeling anxiety? Are you having a bad day? Are you struggling mentally, physically, financially, whatever it is? And can you just own it and go, okay, this is something that needs improvement, right? It doesn't have to happen right now. No big changes need to happen right at this instant, but you need to decide that you're going to chase the best version of yourself. And for me, that's called the pursuit of relentless, right? Because I don't know what relentless looks like. I just have this vision in my head of what I'm trying to create here. And whether it goes that route or a different route, you never know, right? Until you have those conversations with people. But when you're surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who are on a mission, who are excited, who are giving back to the community, who are, pushing themselves to chase their dreams, you're feeding into that energy as well. And you're helping them achieve their dreams better because you're excited, and you're giving them that energy. And I think that we also need to protect our energy because people can try and steal it, like suck it out of us and negative, negative, negative. I'm like, just don't call me if it's negative, I'm like, you can tell me something frustrating is happening, but if it's every single time it's coming out of your mouth, I'm probably not going to be your friend. Or I'm going to give you some good coaching on how a different perspective might look if you're,
Totally.
struggling. And I have had to have those reality check conversations with myself lately, going, oh my gosh, I lost another baby, whatever. And I'm just like so frustrated with it. And I'm like, you know what? If I stay in that energy, I'm going to keep creating the same result. So if I can change my energy, I can change my state. If I can change my state, I can change how I'm feeling. I can change how I'm thinking, and then I can thrive because I'm giving myself an opportunity to be open to what's coming instead of sitting there believing that the past is just going to keep repeating itself. And I think that that is the most beautiful thing I can do as a gift to myself, and just go, hey, it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what's going to happen tomorrow. What matters is today. And like save money for the future and like take care of your future health and stuff like that, but also focus on what you can do today that's going to serve you as an individual so that you can recharge. So I see so many people, and I'm sure you see it all the time, like adrenal fatigue, like people are just drained or they have like a permanent frown on their face. And I'm like, do you ever smile? Like you can just see it. And it makes me sad. And I'm like, I just want to help those people, That's why I love what you're doing because I love Arbonne and I love all your other businesses too, but I love Arbonne a lot. And I have their curl cream in today. Just saying, my beautiful curls are thanks to Anita. Like, it's just different when you can share that passion with other people, and then they're inspired to chase their dreams. So don't hold back, people. Like, just go for it and chase those dreams. Because people are going to tell you you're crazy. That's fine. That just means that they like you the way you are, and they're scared to see you do anything different. So
right.
When you establish yourself as a different person, I think the biggest compliment you can get is like, oh, I didn't recognize you. I'm like, yeah, I'm a different person. Oh, Alaina, I didn't recognize you. I'm like, good. I don't want to identify as that person, So it's just different. But anyways, any final comments? I'd like people to get more access to you as well.
Okay.
Social media, where can they find you? And
They
maybe
can
a closing
find me.
tip.
Yeah, closing tip is you are so worthy and deserving of the future that you want, the life that you want, starting right now. And surround yourself with people just like that, because that kind of energy is very contagious. which will allow access to other people to start their walk on creating a life that they deserve for themselves as well. It's really very similar to what we do in our businesses, Alaina. We connect and we help people grow. And you can do it just by surrounding yourself with the right people. And you can find me always on Instagram under Anita Parker, Anita Parker.best life, actually, on Instagram. You can also find me on Wine Women Wellbeing, YMM, and Black Box Life, also on Instagram. That's the healthy meal prep that we do with all the macronutrients. Gosh, the food is so good. And then the Smoke and Butcher as well. So love to connect with you. And I so appreciate you having me here today, Alaina. It really meant the world to be a part of this today. So
thank you again for being here. It's an honor, most definitely. And trust me, I ate such good food last night at the Smoke and Butcher. I was just like, my husband, I let Kyle pick where he wanted to go. And he's like, we have to go to the Smoke and Butcher. And I was like, okay, let's go. So we went and had dinner there, even though I was there a few days ago. And I was just like, it's good. I'm going to go eat there. So I'm excited to get access to Black Box as well. I'm super pumped for that.
I'm excited for your feedback. So
yeah. Well, it's an easy way to do a program like 75 Hard, right? If you've got everything planned and you're ready to go, you don't even have to stress out. It's just done.
It's done for you, which is amazing, because it can be really, especially in our community. Like we obviously have the Kelowna location, but you and I are speaking of the Fort McMurray location. We have a lot of shift workers in Fort Mac, and this has been life-changing for them. It's really cool, like the messages that I get, because what happens is they want to eat healthy and they come home, they get their rest, and they're like, this is like another job for me. Like I'm not enjoying my quality of life. So thank you for bringing this. So yeah, it's been really exciting. It's helped our family so much because we have, a full life with different things going on. And I'm excited for your feedback. And it's BLK Box Life. It's called Black Box, but it's BLK Box Life. And you can do that .com to hit the website and check all the amazing things.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. I'll post all of those links in the show notes for you guys to go check it out. Make sure you follow Anita on social media. She posts some awesome content and she's always just fun and doing things. I love watching your stories and all that good stuff. So thanks again for being on the show. And I know everyone got a ton of value. So make sure you share it with a friend. We are a holistically grown episode every single time because we don't believe in shoving advertising down people's throats. We believe in holistically growing through word of mouth. So if you liked it, share the show. If you didn't, well, you don't have to listen. But I know you did enjoy it. So thanks again for being here. And we'll see you next time. Pursuit of Relentless, signing out.